Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello everyone. I am Surbhi and today we are going to talk about your unit on understanding media. We do understand some bit of what is media, but it is important for us to know the exact meaning, the exact importance. Why do you have such a great importance of media in our society? What made it come in and what made it that important? All of these aspects are something that we are going to talk about in this unit. Now, starting with the understanding of what is media. So basically, media is seen as the fourth pillar of democracy. So when you have it as one of the major pillars or one of the pillars which is actually balancing democracy, you may understand how important it is. We will further on relate, or we will further on understand what makes it the fourth pillar of democracy. Why is it that important for the democracy to sustain? Now, in the term wise or in the word wise, it is the plural of medium. So you understand medium, which means communication, the medium of communication. Medium as in, a passage or something that is actually trying to build in the gap. So herein, what is it trying to build in? Build in the gap. It is trying to build in the gap of communication. Whatever gaps are there between communication, whatever distances are there, or whatever rather challenges are there in the field of communication, the media is trying to build on. Media is trying to bridge on those communication gaps. It helps us to analyze and comment on the actions of the government authorities. So whatever the government authorities are taking actions, media helps us analyze those. Media helps us have different opinions. Media helps us present the pros and the cons, as in the positives and the negatives, and hence help us in making our understanding, help us in making us understand whether the actions that are taken by the government authorities are right or wrong, or are in some points or in some parts right, or to some extent right and wrong after some extent. So it helps us analyze and comment. It helps us analyze. It is giving you different ideas. It is giving you different perspectives. Very, very important word. When you talk about perspectives, it is something that there are 10 people here in let's say a meeting, and those 10 people may have 10 different ideas. Those 10 people may have 10 people logical reasoning. Those 10 people may have their own their own ideas, their own thinking. And hence media is helping us understand, media is helping us know about those 10 perspectives. Now, out of those 10 perspectives, whatever I as an audience or you as an audience want to choose is on you and me. Or if we have some other setup, or if we have some other 11th different idea, then it helps us to comment. It helps us to build on our ideas in that strong way and get the facts to justify those ideas, that we come in a position to comment on the actions of the government authorities. So basically, before television, the main source of information was the print media, like the newspapers. Obviously, we all understand and we all know that before television, it was the newspapers and the print media. Basically, the print media in the form of newspapers, that was very, very in, and that was very, very prevalent and important in the society. So herein, television brought a revolutionary change, and it affected the way people formed and conveyed their opinions. television actually brought a very revolutionary change, a very drastic change. If you want to understand revolutionary here, it brought a very drastic change, something which is, moving from directly from 1 to 7 maybe. It brought a drastic change. It also affected the people's understanding, or the way people used to form their opinions and also convey their opinions. Now you would have to understand some things here. Print media is in a way a slow process, right? You get your newspapers every morning, every day. It is an everyday process wherein the term print media comes in. Wherein when television came in, the things or the setups were changing every second. Something happens in India, something happens in US, something happens in Australia. Within a second, within a minute, you are able to get the news regarding the same on the television. And hence, because it is an instant news, it is an instant thing that people are watching, and people hence come up with different ways of forming their opinions. And it is a very sudden process, and it is a very reflective process, rather I would call. If you call reflective, if you understand reflective, it is something that you saw and you kind of imagine certain things, you kind of have your own ideas and you react to that, or you reflect to that. In a way, you form your own ideas, not in an action way, but in the formation of your ideas. So that is what was the understanding, and that is what was the change, the major change that we saw when the television came in. And also the conveyed of their opinion, the way the opinion was being conveyed, it became again a very quick process. It is not something that you would have to wait for the information, then you have to write to the newspaper to give your opinions, or rather convey your opinions to the world. It is again something that you can do quickly with the help of television and with the help of technologies that television has come up with. Moving ahead, they say that internet came as a game changer. We all know that. We all know that internet just changed the lives of the people. That is how something that happened in US, we are able to get the information about it within a minute, or within max 5 minutes, because it is there everywhere. It is accessible everywhere. You get to know about anything and everything that is happening in the world and in the universe also, which the man is aware of, at least with the help of internet. People could express their opinion, and information was available at a quicker pace. So people could express their opinion. Today you see Twitter, today you see YouTube, all of these social media handles that are there. Today you see online news channels, you have comment sections below that. So you are able to express your opinion quickly. You are able to express your opinion there and then. And also the information that you have, the information that you want rather, is very much at a very quick pace available to you. You are able to access that information. If I want the information about about, let's say, moon today, I will be able to access it within a minute, on rather less than a minute, on the internet, and I will have variety of informations. So that is what internet has provided us, and that is how internet has become and has acted as a game changer. Moving ahead to the public opinion. Now, what is public opinion? What is something, or is it something of our importance, or are we supposed to consider that, or it is something that we are not supposed to consider, or it is something that we should not be concerned about? So let's understand what is public opinion. Now, media influences people, somewhat channelizes their opinion on many matters. So when I see something, when I see, for example, X scheme has been passed and people are in a way protesting against that scheme, and people have a lot of negative aspects against that scheme, and people are giving reasons also. To some of those reasons I might relate to. So in a way, my ideas are getting influenced. In a way, my ideas are actually being influenced with the information and with the opinion of the people that I am getting. Right? My ideas are getting, altered. That I might, if I would have been thinking in isolation, if I would have been thinking alone, my mind might not have accessed that idea or that aspect. For example, a very small example if I take from your world is if somebody tells you that this teacher has been giving us a lot of homework. Now, because you have been doing that homework and it has become a part of your life, you do not really realize that that teacher has been giving you a lot of homework. But since there are people around you who have started saying, no, Surbhi ma'am has been giving a lot of homework, Surbhi ma'am has been, I'm unable to finish my homework. They might have their own reasons behind it, but because they are able to, they have all of their ideas and they have been sharing those ideas with you, you might get influenced by those ideas and also start saying, yes, you're right, Surbhi ma'am has been giving us a lot of homework. So all of these things are when you get influenced from someone's opinion. Now, media, wherein you have access to everyone's opinion, be it an Indian, if something is happening at the global level, or even if something is happening at the national level, you have opinions of all the national identities, you have opinions of, all varied classes, castes, everything. And hence it definitely influences your opinion or influences people and somewhat channelizes their opinion. Channelizes as in it somewhat gives way to their opinion, or it someone helps form their opinion. It will help you form your opinion that, okay, this is the teacher who's giving us some good amount of homework. Right? So that is how media has been working on the lives of the people. Now, media covers many aspects of our life, including social media, including social, economic, cultural and political. It is not just the social sphere that media is covering. It is not just the political sphere. It is also the economical sphere. It is also the cultural sphere. You do get an access to all these informations. You do get an access and opinion from all these informations, and hence media has a wide variety to offer to us. Now, it helps in passing the opinion of the public to all concerned, including the government. So, when you are passing your opinion, when you are sharing your opinion is something that is accessible to the people around you and also to those authorities to whom you have actually related to in your opinion. If there's something to do with the health sector, considering the current pandemic, and if you've written something, not everyone's opinion holds that value. One thing for us to understand, if you and me have been writing as just a normal citizen, and we have not got that great audience to watch on, it might be that our ideas will be dissolved at some point of time. But then there are a lot of influencers, there are a lot of media people, a lot of journalists, a lot of people who have been very active into the social health, environment, all of these setups, whose opinions actually hold value. And when people relate to those opinions and people start commenting on those opinions, that is when it gets that it gets that rage, it gets that that zeal, that fire of being spread across. So herein they say, and hence it reaches to the concerned authorities, including the government in the concerned authorities. So through media, people become aware of public affairs. We do become aware of a lot of public affairs through media. We do get to know about what is actually happening, and how can it impact my life, or how is it impacting my life. All of these aspects are done with the help of media. Understanding actually the role of media in democracy. I told you that media plays a very, very important role in democracy, and it is called, I'll write here again, the fourth pillar of democracy. And it is time for us to understand why and how come it is called the fourth pillar of democracy. Now, media plays a very important role in democracy. Media such as television, tabloids, newspapers, and magazines are used to convey information. The political parties employ the internet and other media to create and shape the opinion of people in their favor. Very, very important. Whatever you are seeing at a lot of places, you tend to make that as your opinion at times when you're not fully aware about the facts, when you're not fully aware about the reasons. So that is where people have, or political people have actually been using media to their benefits also, but also at a very positive stage. It is very, very useful for us to convey information, to tell us what is happening, to let us know how are we gonna affect, this is something that you would be aware of, demonetization. Right now, when demonetization happened, I know you people would be a little more younger, but still, the effect, what all changes will be there in your life, how would it be a challenge, how would it be a difficulty, how is it a positive point, all of these information was being conveyed using media, all of these media platforms, that's, television, tabloids, newspapers, magazines, pamphlets, or radio, all of these things. And hence, at times, to favor their opinions, to get people to have people in favor of their opinions, political parties actually play in a way that they create they create the media setup in a way that actually comes in favor of their judgments, or it actually comes in favor of them. So that is how media is one of the very major aspect of democracy, and hence the fourth pillar of democracy. Moving ahead to social media and the social responsibilities. We do understand social media. We do have very high, we understand the hype about social media. As children only, as our 5th, 6th graders only, we do want to be a part of social media. We do want to have social media accounts, have our friends, have the independence. But have we ever realized the social responsibilities? Do we even know that with social media comes the social responsibilities? With social platforms come social responsibilities. And here is what we're going to talk about here. Now, media has a great responsibility towards society. Providing unbiased information to the people is the main responsibility of media. You cannot be biased towards one particular caste, one particular class, one particular gender, one particular political party, one particular nation. You cannot have your biases. And hence you are supposed to be unbiased and provide information to the people, and that is one of your major responsibility. Let people decide what is right or wrong. If I'm teaching you Hitler, I'll tell you what all was that Hitler did wrong in terms of his actions, but I will even tell you what all was good in terms of his ideas and in terms of his oratorship skills. So if I am talking about, one personality, I ought to give you the complete understanding of it, and hence is the responsibility of media that if they're talking about one particular aspect, they have to give you the correct and the unbiased information about everything and anything that's around it. So basically, media should be independent. It should be independent of all the biases in the world. It should be independent entity. It should not be influenced by any political leader, any political party, any political agenda, any political idea, any gender, any class, any caste, any sex, any rationality, any nationality, all of these things. So media is ought to be an independent, unbiased entity. Any dependent on the political parties or the business head can affect the right information. Obviously, if I am dependent on, if I am showing that dependence on any of the political parties, I might not tell you the flaws around it. I might not tell you the flaws behind it, and hence my information will be affected. And hence I am not doing my task of providing you with the complete and unbiased information. So hence it is essential that media should follow ethical code of conduct. Now, what do you understand by ethical code of conduct? It has honesty involved, it has impartiality involved, it has being unbiased involved, and hence providing all the correct information. It is in not hiding any information by the people. It is not hiding any information from the people, and hence providing them with a proper correct structure of information is the responsibility of media. So basically, it should act independently, that means unbiased, impartially, not being influenced by anyone, and honestly providing all the information that they have. Media has to understand, and we do also have to understand, that media is accountable to the people. When you say media is accountable to the people, we mean that media is responsible for the actions that people are taking. Media is responsible for the people. It is responsible for providing that information that is correct in all senses to the people, and that is one of the very major aspect of media. Moving on to the relationships between government and media. Now, even if we are a democratic setup, and under this democratic setup we say that media is the fourth pillar, then there has to be some kind of relationship between media and government. But at the same point, we say that media should not be concerned or should not be influenced by any government. Now, what do we actually want to say? What do we actually mean? It is something for us to understand now. So basically, media is a link between people and the government. Right, whatever the government is doing, media is just bridging that gap of informing people about it. So it is, if you have the government here, or rather, if you have the government here and if you have people here, then here is what you have: media in the process where people are getting to know what is the government actually doing. So media carries out surveys and interviews. This help in forming people's opinion on several issues. So media is actually carrying out, they carry out surveys, they carry out interviews, and hence we get to know the people's opinion about several issues, and it helps further in making democracy successful. When you see, in under a survey or an interview, you see that, okay, majority of the people are saying yes to this act, or, there are very few people saying no, and that too they have their own selfish reasons of saying no. That is when you actually strengthen the democracy by conveying it to the government that, okay, the decision that you are taking is right, and hence you may take that. So that is what is making the democracy successful, because you are able to take people's opinion. What is democracy? Democracy is for you to be able to express your opinion. It is something by the people, of the people, and for the people. So here is when you access the aspect of for the people, and hence you kind of give your inputs in the democratic structure of the country. public opinion can force the government to change their decisions if they are not in their favor. Very important. You choose your government once in 5 years, right? It is not something we play as a part of the indirect indirect people or indirect aspect in the democracy. Now, if you understand the direct and the indirect participation, it will be interesting for you to know that in the indirect participation is something that we follow. We choose them once in a span of 5 years and then let them take the decisions on their own on behalf of us because we have chosen them. Now, direct is when you are, always being involved, the way we are involved in once in 5 years, that we go and vote for them. That is the direct elections. Post that, that is what is direct participation. Post that, whatever participation is happening on the indirect level. Like, okay, for example, I'll take this example for you. You are a class of, let's say, 20 people. You have appointed one monitor or one class representative. You have one CR. Now that whenever the school meeting takes place, that CR is there to represent all 20 of you people and give his opinion on behalf of you. So herein, when you participated in having the elections for that one CR, it is the direct election or the direct participation. Now when this person is going on behalf of you, it is the indirect participation. So majorly, we are the part of the indirect participation. But media, through the surveys, through the interviews, makes it possible to actually reach the voice of the majority of the people to the government. And hence, at times when the people are not happy at all with the kind of decisions that have been taken by the government, the government does have to listen to them and have actually changed their decisions, that sometimes also due to the country or the nation being a democratic setup, and when your people are not happy with the decisions that you have taken, hence you are not functioning on the democratic levels. Talking ahead, the public outrage and the media coverage bring changes in many policies and law. I am sure you must be hearing a lot about the Kisan Andolan and how the public was outraged and how media was covering all of that. And there was some or the other influence. There were talks with the government taking place. So there was some or the other influence on the governmental decisions as well. Now, in a democracy, people must get all the information of actions being taken by the government, as they are an important part of it. People are the center of democracy. People are the heart of democracy. Now, if there are some decisions that are being taken for them by the people who were appointed by them, then and are a part of the society which is from that particular society, hence they are very much accountable of knowing of the decisions that the government has taken. And hence here an active media plays a very important role, and an active media can change the image of the government. An active media can make the government look amazing, and an active media can make the government look really bad because of the coverage that you are doing and because of the loopholes that you have in having those coverage. So that is what till now is the understanding of the concept of media. I hope it is clear to you. I hope you were able to relate to it till here, and we shall talk about the other aspects and more elaborative aspects of media in the next section of the video. But before that, let us see how much have you understood from here. So let's talk about, or let's just see the assignment questions. The first question is, the fourth pillar of democracy is, yes, you have media as the fourth pillar of democracy here, which will come under the concept of television in this option type questions. Moving on to, media helps the people to communicate as well as participate as well. It helps to communicate, is the basic of communication, a basis of communication, but it also helps them to participate by commenting on certain levels. But the major answer, and if you have to correct one answer, if you have to take up only one answer, it will be communicate, because if you remember, we read about it in the first slide that it is a medium of communication, and hence communication will be the first correct answer here in your question. Moving ahead, media should not provide, number 1 is true information, number 2 is unbiased information, and number 3 is biased information. Important for us to see the word not. Media should not provide the biased information. It should always provide the true and the unbiased information. Moving ahead, what do you mean by media? We have talked about it. We have seen in our videos before. Media is, and we have just talked about it in the MCQ, that media is the medium of communication. So you have the medium of communication as the concept of media. What are the different types of media? Discuss the role of media in democracy. You have different types of media as television. You have different types of media as print media in terms of newspaper. Then you have it in terms of, let's say, which includes radios as well. Now here is internet also that plays an important role, tabloids also which are there, magazines also. All of these are the aspects of media. Role of media in the democracy, it acts as the fourth pillar of democracy, and hence a very important part, and helps in exchanging or helps in communicating information to the people. It helps in communicating information to the people about what all is happening in the society. That's all for this part of this section on media. I hope it was interesting for you to know about the media, about how is it related to the government, about how is it so an integral part of our lives, and how it helps us build the opinions. And I hope you were able to answer these questions.